So the actors and various members of the film community have joined screenwriters in a strike.
Yes.
This is being led by the union SAG-AFTRA. If I'm saying that correct?
I think so.
We were talking about it for like 5 minutes, how to actually say it.
I mean, it's a bunch of random letters together, so it's kind of confusing, but...
Yeah, it is. And I have a little screenshot from a New York Times post just to give you all some updates, because I was aware that the writers went on strike about, I want to say 2 months ago now.
Yeah.
And then over the past week, I believe, is when the actors joined them. So there's 160 television and movie actors who went on strike at midnight. Yeah, about a couple days ago. And this is the first industry-wide shutdown in 63 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
It's a long time, and this is putting a lot of ongoing projects on hold, and some projects even got pushed back.
Yeah,
a good amount of time. One example is the show Euphoria, which was set to come out with the second season, or is it third? With the third season in 2024, and now it got pushed back to like
2026, I think.
So it got pushed back two years because of this strike,
which is like forever.
And that's a crazy thing about it. Maybe that's why screenwriters and a bunch of actors and actresses went on strike, is because the impact that they have on the overall process, right? Because if talk about like the writers, for example, they've only been on strike for 2 months, and if being on strike for 2 months pushes back a project by a couple years,
imagine how much longer it's going to be pushed back if they keep going. That's true. It's really true.
Yes, and the screenwriters originally went on strike, I believe, because of the compensation that they were not receiving from studios.
Yeah.
And then the actors now joined them for basically like the same reason. And I remember one instance, I think it was an actor from the show Succession. Can't think of his name off the top of my head, which is not good journalism by me, but whatever. He mentioned that, you know, with the rise of the streaming services and platforms, that the actors and actresses are not receiving their residuals as they should if the show was just running on like normal cable.
Gotcha.
So like, again, going back to like the money aspect of all, like they're not getting paid from these streaming services. Well, I guess like the residual income that they're receiving sounds like is declining.
I was gonna say it's
over the years. Yeah, I guess you're not getting like $0 per se, but the way he explained it is it is reducing year by year, which is kind of bogus. But because again, like maybe the streaming service is like, well, like it always will be on here for as long as we have like the license, so like we don't want to give you that much money. But then how can you hold? How can you withhold
their money?
Their money for that
they've literally earned?
Yeah, because if it was being played on cable, they would get paid
they would still get paid.
Yeah, like the same rate, I guess, like the original rate.
Yeah.
And then Sean Gunn, he's a brother of James Gunn. He was the director of Guardians of the Galaxy series, and then Sean Gunn plays in the actual movies.
Oh, okay.
And he was mentioning, he said a stat, and I mean, I'm pretty sure he's right, but we didn't fact check this, so take that for as it is. He said in the 80s, the CEOs made 30 times more than the lowest wage worker. Now, CEOs make 400 times more than the lowest wage worker. And he said this in like a short little like interview clip.
Right.
And yeah, I guess he raises a really good point of like how ethically sound, like, is that like morally ethic to do that? Like, how come, you know, the lowest wage workers, as wage workers in general, are not getting paid more? And like, I didn't know from that clip if he was talking about in general, like just the overall economy regardless of the industry,
right.
or if that was only pertaining to the entertainment world.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like a 30-second clip. So,
right.
But I mean, that statement holds true I think for a large part. I don't know if the 400 times more is the right number, but we all know that CEOs nowadays make a lot more money than the lowest wage worker.
For sure.
For a certain company or industry or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's not really a surprise to me.
Yeah.
And then Bob Iger, who was the CEO of Disney, said something like, I think he went on like TV, and he said something along the lines of, "This is business. Like that's how business runs." And like they get paid more. So that was like the huge like backlash from him. Is like, you can't go on TV and be like, "Listen, this is like the way that it is. You guys can't do anything about it."
Not
because I'm just getting paid, millions and millions every single year, and your incomes are not going to increase at all. So,
wild.
Also another studio executive came out and said that he wishes that the union strike goes on for so long that the actors and actresses start losing their like homes.
That's literally wild.
It's wild. He's like, listen, like I want y'all poor because of this. Like I don't even care. So that tells me two things, Brooke. One, do they really care about the people that are working for his studio, for his company?
Right.
And two, that also tells me that he's pretty well off right now. He's not hurting for any money.
Literally.
If he's saying, listen, we don't need to put out any content and get any revenue through the door because I'm set. Like we can go as long as it takes for you to lose your homes.
Yeah.
To put out content. Like it's crazy, right?
Literally, no. He's probably definitely like, listen, I'm set for life, so I don't really care what happens to you guys. Which is sad as hell. But I mean, again, like, that's what money does to people. And, like, obviously, yeah, the CEO should be getting the most money, but, like, you're not going to fairly compensate your workers, though? Like, for the company you own? Like, that makes no sense. But, I don't know. People are wild nowadays with money in their companies and stuff like that.
It is wild. And, also, cause I work in like corporate America, so I kind of get the other perspective of it. Because I feel like the CEO gets a whole bunch of money because like maybe they'll hold like more like stock in the company or stuff like that. But like usually, like in the case of Disney and Bob Iger, sure, he helped kind of get into a place where it's now with acquiring certain number of companies and making those moves, I guess. But like they're not getting like their hands dirty. Like they're not the ones really like Bob's not out here writing, Disney and Marvel shows or whatever. He's not the one acting. So it seems kind of weird how like CEOs in general like don't really do a whole lot of like active work. They kind of do like the overseeing, but then they get paid like 100 times more than other people.
And for them saying that, like, you're goofy for that because all these people that are making you money, you're just gonna say screw them. Like, okay, then you're gonna stop getting money.
And then like it'll stop working for you.
Right.
Like the talent, like you need talent to make stuff.
Right.
So I would assume Disney being the entertainment, powerhouse that it is going out there and try to recruit and also retain top talent to put out top content.
It's wild. So
then you go out on TV and say, yeah, we don't really care. That's how business is done.
Yeah.
And then like, how does that look for like the people that you're trying to get to work for you to make all that money?
Right. Yeah. Not a good look for them at all.
Yeah. So, not sure where we really go from here. I mean, obviously, stuff is put on pause until screenwriters and actors come back. I mean, Deadpool 3, which has Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine. Okay. I'm super excited about. They're currently filming right now, and that stuff is stopped right now because of the entire strike. So, I hope from a fan that they can resolve this, like. The studios and the union and screenwriters and actors, can we get some sort of agreement here? We can get these people paid so we can watch our favorite TV shows and movies and whatnot.
Seriously.